Rock, if you want to start us off, you can go ahead.
Hey, John. You had the great finish to the season, but beyond that, are you pretty eager to put 2020 in the rear view and get yourself a fresh start?
To be honest with you, I left last year feeling a lot better than I did 2019. I thought I didn't finish the year very well in 2019, and obviously the beginning of 2020 was rough. And I was really excited to finish the way I did, and just really excited to keep on with that momentum.
John Muley, you're up next.
John, this time last year in spring training, we didn't get to see a ton of you in games, but it seemed like you were trying to come in a different pitcher with different arsenal than you had the year before. You kind of reverted back to 2019 status, I guess, with that a little bit. How would you describe where you are and what you've been preparing to do throughout the season right now?
Yeah, I think at the end of kind of like what I said before, at the end of 2019, I didn't feel very good. And I felt like there were some things that I needed. And I feel like in 2020, I addressed those issues, and obviously didn't work in the beginning. But I think once I sort of stepped back a little bit in those last 4 games, those things that I worked on really came to fruition. So I liked the way I finished, and I didn't really work on a whole lot this off season that was any different than what I had done the off seasons before. And I'm just trying to come in and just pitch like I did.
Joe Trezza, you're up next.
Hey, John, what are your goals for the mustache?
I don't know yet. I don't know. It just felt right. Once I had McCoy, my little boy, I just felt like the mustache needed to come. We'll see if it stays.
Dan Connolly, you're up.
John, this rotation looks a lot different than it did this time last year. What do you make of it? And, does your leadership status now take even more of a loftier status because of some of these younger guys coming in?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, it's crazy that the fact that I have 2 years of service time and, I'm stepping into a leadership role, but that's the way this team works, and that's the way it needs to be. And I'm excited to kind of take that role on, especially with the starting rotation. I mean, it's just so up in the air, and there's a lot of young kids competing, and also some guys that have been around a while. So just to kind of, more lead by example, but if they need something, I've been talking to quite a few guys here the first day or so. And I like that role.
Steve Molesky, you're up.
Hey, John, one more about the ending of last year for you. Was that the best run over an extended period of 3 or 4 games for your fastball? I mean, the percentages say you leaned on it really heavily. What made it that, and what does it mean for you going forward if you can get it to that level?
Yeah, no, that was the best I had felt, ever. Even in 2019, I think, I think I felt even better then than I did then. And I think, yeah, the fastball definitely helped. But the fastball was there because the mechanics were there. I think that, I slowed down a little bit and I found my lane. And once I found my lane for the heater, everything else played off that. So yeah, the fastball is always going to be the most important pitch. Just the fact that everything plays off that.
Rich Dubroff, you're up.
Hey, John, is Felix Hernandez there yet? And if so, have you had a chance to talk to him and talk any pitching?
Yeah, he is here. We haven't talked a whole lot. Today was kind of hectic. We had some rain and some delays, and everybody was kind of scattered all over the place, especially with the protocols and everything. It's kind of tough to have those, intimate conversations with guys like that. But, I look forward to it, and I'm sure, we'll have that time.
Sean Stepner, you're up.
Hey, John, I'm going to go big picture here. Just tell me about what the first day of workouts means every year, this year, just finally getting back at it down in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, this year's weird because last time we were here, everybody was scattering for COVID. I mean, last time, it was weird times, but it's a little different this year than it usually is. The food is all boxed up. The weight room, you can only have a certain amount of people in there, and just all the protocols. But it's nice getting down here. I think it was -10 where I was out in Kansas City when I left. So this 75 and sunny is kind of nice.
Joe Trezza, you're up.
John, was that health and safety stuff, did that change how you prepared this off season at all? Were you able to train at the same facilities or do kind of the same drills you did during the quarantine? I know that was a big deal with you throwing into the mattress. Can you just like talk about how this winter was different in that regard for you?
Yeah, I was glad to get back into P3. I went back to St. Louis. I wasn't able to do that over quarantine, so to be able to have that going into the season was nice. And you know, they had protocols definitely, but I was able to get everything in. There was no issues, no holdups. I never got COVID, so I didn't have any 2-week, hiatus or anything like that. So I was able to get in all my work.
Dan Connolly, you're up.
Hey, John, hope is supposed to spring eternal, but the recent projections from Fangraphs have you guys at 0.0% of making the postseason. First of all, have you heard that, seen that, or whatever? And secondly, you take this job very seriously, but you also have a good sense of humor. How do you view that 0.0% projection?
I think the last 2 years we have been projected to finish last, and I don't think we've done it yet. I think we've outplayed projections every year that I've been up here, and the plan is to outplay the projections again. And I think if we can consistently do that, I think we're going to be pretty well off. I think we have a better chance than 0.0 for sure, but we're just going to try and play. We try not to listen to the noise too much.
Steve Molesky, you're up.
John, after a shortened season, guys only throwing 40 or 50 innings, how's it going to work? Can guys go to 150, 175? What are some of the plans with that?
Honestly, I feel like I look at it as, less wear and tear on my arm. I look at it as a kind of a positive that, more time to recover. But, honestly, I think it's been voiced here that they want guys to make sure they feel good in the buildup. I mean, I think guys are really going to start to find out if there is any wear and tear on the buildup, and then kind of when August, hits, guys will start to get an idea of how their arms feeling. And I think that we're going to be a little bit more cautious. But at the end of the day, we're going to go out there and we're going to try and compete, and I'm going to try and go 6-7 innings every time out. So,
John Meoli, you can go ahead.
John, this is the first day of workouts under the new setup with Chris Holt and Darren Holmes kind of running the show down there. Did they bring everyone together and kind of address you guys? And what's the message been as they're familiar faces but new roles and trying to make this adjustment for everyone?
Yeah, Chris Holt, obviously he's been here for a couple of years, so guys are very familiar with him, and Holmesy. I think it's going to be a really good dynamic. Holt knows both sides of the ball really well. He knows the analytics and he knows the pitching side too, the execution part. And I think that's key, especially in the times nowadays. It's so analytically driven that sometimes you start to lose that feel for, where it's going. And I think he has a good feel for both. And I think that he's able to build good relationships with guys, and guys, can go to him for anything. His door is wide open.
Joe Trezza, you're up.
John, last year we made a lot about the velocity, even when the results weren't necessarily there. Do you have a better sense now of how to harness that to the best of your ability?
Yeah, I think kind of like I said, I liked what it was looking like. I think analytically it looked really well with the extra velo, the extra spins. And honestly, when I tapered back just a bit, I still had that top end velocity that I had early on. I just was sitting a little lower, which is no problem as long as I know I have that in the back, and just being able to go out there and compete and go, I can just stay within myself. That was the biggest change that that I had made at the end of the year, and just to stay within myself and pitch like I know how to pitch.